Do we have a golf report online?
Paul, I believe, is gonna join us remotely.
Thumbs up, he says.
Who?
Patrick.
First time? All right, the Grand Marais Park and Rec Board meeting of Tuesday, October 7th is in order in the absence of its chair. We will defer to the chair should he arrive late. Any comments on the October meeting agenda as distributed? It's pretty spare. Are there any comments on the minutes from the last meeting as distributed? There is one typo in the middle of the middle paragraph. And that's all I saw.
Can you help me out with that, Bob?
I didn't bring my copy, but
I think it is
There you go.
evaluate our application.
there you go.
Yeah. It says evaluate.
Oh, I see it, yep.
It didn't affect the overall sense of the meaning or the minutes. Unless there are comments, the agenda and the minutes are approved as circulated. The golf report, Dave, do you think
Yeah, Paul's on.
Paul's on? Oh, Paul,
There he is.
you're on.
It's being transported. There he is.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're live.
Kind of a weird program here. I'm just seeing a little bit. Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Very good,
Good.
thanks.
Do you want me to proceed here or where are we at?
Why don't you go ahead, Paul? Yeah, we don't have Steve here yet, so go ahead.
Steve's not there yet? Okay.
Not yet.
Well, yeah, basically we're in the midst of closing the course. It's a traditional thing you get into October and people want us to keep it open for as long as they can. And so we were kind of pretty much open all last week. Business was really weird. It's really cut off, but we still did a little bit of business on the weekend. Right now, it's just some of the members that come every day. So we're kind of doing cleanup in the clubhouse, and we are, we're all attending to all the things we have to do for the course, and the equipment to get it ready to be put away for the winter. So that's kind of what we're doing. We've got, I don't know, we're going to be working probably through the next 2 weeks doing stuff like that. So we'll be there. I think, I'm going to be punching the greens, I think probably sometime in the next 4 or 5 days. And I have to do some more spraying and just a lot of stuff so for all practical purposes, the playability of the course is going to change. But overall, we had a really good, really good positive season. Our numbers are up. Course is in really good shape. So that's kind of it. I'm still struggling with trying to get a closure on our cart deal. I had some cars lined up for us to purchase, and I've got a few cobwebs on that deal. So I've also got some quotes coming from the club car representative for new carts. Anyway, we're going to keep the new cart acquisition thing going. I'm just not sure if we're going to be able to get these used ones, or if we'll just go back to buying, as much used ones as the budget allows.
Corky, down. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's about it. The other thing, I've got to get paperwork in for grinders. I've got a set of grinders that I'm wanting to propose selling to the golf course. So really, I just got to get, it'll be interesting, but the interesting thing about the grinders is that they're really good grinders, and the value that I'd be selling them at, they would.
I assume you're all ready for the meeting to be called to order?
We are in order.
Oh.
They're gonna hold their value for a long time. It's something that we functionally have to have. I just have to get paperwork so everybody knows what a new set costs and kind of some recent sales on grinders, that sort of, so that we know that we have a fair deal going here. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff I've got going here this last month to button up and get squared away. So, right now I'm off. In October, I do a few other courses with my airfine machine, and I'm going to be doing it on our course here probably about Friday this week. I'm also going to be doing some spraying. So, yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. I guess I'd be doing a summary probably in early November. I'll be able to gather up all my information and do an executive summary. But, yeah, all in all, I think things went, as far as what we had to output for spending, and I think we're definitely in line on our budget there. And then we've got a kind of all-time high for what we've hit for revenue income. So that's continues with the positive growth in our in the golf activity up there.
Yeah, great job, Paul. Great season. Record revenue.
Cool.
Steve, do you want to take the chair?
Well, I'd be delighted if you're prepared to give it up.
I will yield to my colleague.
The chair wishes the minutes to reflect that member Aldrich showed up about 5 minutes late, and that fortunately there were people here to run the meeting until I got here, and thank you all.
It was actually
As a
9
consequence,
minutes.
I'm gonna sign myself 30 push-ups to do when I'm able.
It's only 9 minutes.
Don't count on that being tomorrow. All right, so we finished the golf report. Anybody else have questions or comments with Paul?
Are there any capital issues with the golf report?
And you're gonna be closing this weekend, you think, Paul?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
Okay.
Paul, are you going to buy anything this year, or do you need our approval on anything? Or?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, these grinders that I've got. I've got to get some pricing so that you can see some comparable equipment for the grinders. And then as far as as compared to what new equipment would be, so that you would know that what the retaining value of the equipment would be. So I think it's definitely, we're in a good position there. And then the other fact is, basically, if we don't have that equipment, then we'd have to have our reels contract ground by somebody, and that would be basically, that's going to be $4,000 to $5,000 every year. So we've definitely got enough reels to be servicing our own equipment here.
Do you have any idea what the range of possible purchase prices we'll need to pay for the grinders?
I'm looking at $25,000. There's a midnight grinder and then a reel grinder. Those are kind of the pair. You need both of those to get the whole units functional, and those will work on all of our reels. I think we've got like 19 reels that we grind every year. And then the other thing is, it's in a travel trailer. These grinders were originally demonstrators for selling to end users. So it's in an enclosure right now. So there's something in there. I think there's a couple $1,000 for the trailer, but it's a nice situation because the grinding is about the dirtiest job that there is. There's lots of fine metal dust, and so you almost have to build a room for it that's apart from your shop or anywhere where you normally are, so that it's not contaminated. But anyway, so that being in that trailer enclosure takes care of all those issues. So,
Okay, well, we'll get a more precise number from you down the road, as I understand it.
yeah.
Anything else from any other members?
Well, the other equipment I was looking at was the carts. I got a proposal from, I've been talking to the superintendent at one of the golf courses I work with, and they were trading out their carts, they were updating, and so I was trying to intervene and get those carts for us before they're traded in. And so I talked to them about price and how many of those we wanted and all that. So I've been sitting on that, and I think, we pretty much got, it's in my budget to get it, and so I kind of told the guys that I wanted to get this papered up and get this thing going, and at that point, there's a president of the golf course, evidently, that's he's the one that I needed to be talking to, not the superintendent. So I've got to call into him. I need to talk to him and see what he's got in mind for these cards, because I don't really I know what they're worth to us, and so that's kind of what we proposed to them. So I don't really want to vary off that number. So I don't know if that one's alive or dead, but anyway, that would involve getting us 12 more cards, 12 more used cards. And then if I go the other route, which is buying new cards, I've got the rep is from Club Cars supposed to send me a proposal on new cards so that we know where those are priced at, and then I'll just buy what my budget allows for those. Otherwise, it's just a lot more slower and painful. We've got these older carts are it's kind of getting to be a boneyard over there. They're unsightly because they're so old, but they're failing one after another. I think we've got 3 of them running now, and we have kind of 3 more kind of sitting that aren't working, and we have various problems. And I don't know if we're going to be repairing those or just using them for parts or whatever, but they really don't have any value at this point.
Paul, those are the white carts that don't have windows on them, am I right?
Yeah, what we've been using for is people to come at the very end of the day, want to take a cart. We let them we rent them those carts, and then they can put the key in the night receptacle for keys, and that's what we've been doing with those. Rather than, I don't like leaving the new equipment outside overnight. We have a shed that we put them in.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Next item on our agenda, which I gather you approved as distributed,
Yeah.
is the city council report.
Yep, our last city council, was kind of a short report. We just basically went through our new city insurance, policy. And then the other item that was on the agenda was the relief grant from the Minnesota DNR that we received in 2024. And basically what that was, to develop an urban forest management plan. And so that was completed. And the vision of that, so that you understand what that actually is the tree board's vision of the urban forest management plan is to take us out 10 years on how we're gonna manage, basically the trees. It's a management plan like this. I'm sure this is on our website now, isn't it? The city website? If people wanna see that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys wanna read about it, it's on the city. Anyway, we completed the forest management plan, which basically goes through and identifies all the species of trees within our town, the condition of those trees, which trees may be needing replacement, areas that are troublesome with bad trees, dead trees, pretty much anything you can think of in the tree vision of the community. Sizes of the trees, age of the trees. So basically why we did this was to set us up for, what page was that on here? Working with the DNR. And what it does is it gives us a rough idea of how much money the city would have to participate in, along with property owners, private, within the community to keep a healthy tree structure within our town. And the end result of this is that the centerpiece of the plan includes seeking $495,000 worth of Minnesota DNR relief grant funding to support community members with removal and pruning of large trees that pose potential hazards within our city. So it's, now we can see if we can seek some monies to help with this. It also projects out how much per year, or within a 10-year period, how much money it costs to maintain live trees within a community, and it's, I don't think people really realize it, but it does add up to quite a bit of money, you know, when you start replacing trees, planting trees, how many trees we need to replant each year, where they're gonna go, the species especially, you know, if we're changing type of species that are hardier now because of the weather that we get, but. So anyway, it's kind of an interesting, very detailed presentation that Shane Steele had given us on this. So that's pretty much the main piece of the city council meeting the last meeting we had.
Most of those 100-foot killer spruce are in my yard. They're huge things and they go up forever and the house is just waiting.
And a lot of them are dying.
And a lot of them are injured. Yeah.
They're old, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a big birch tree by my house, the one that's right by my house, like 2 feet away from my house, that big
Yep.
birch. I was looking at it today and the middle of it's dead. The sides are good, but the middle, so I know that's gotta come down, and that's gonna be, there's a lot of trees like that around town. That
It'll take
endanger
itself
either
down if you
houses,
wait.
they endanger houses, and they also endanger a lot of our utility lines, that especially they're running up some of these alleys that we don't have access to drive on, but there's still power lines going through them, you know?
Yep.
So this is a good start to start assessing those and what we wanna do to keep that power going in our city, yeah.
Will there be involvement of private property owners' trees other than paying attention to ones that need to be removed so they don't break something or somebody?
Yeah, I'm not sure how, I mean, as far as money available, or
Is
just
there any
working
other
with.
involvement of private people?
Well, I think this whole thing depends on city and private, because obviously a lot of our trees are not on just city property, or, you know, rec park, or, you know, a lot of our trees are in blocks in neighborhoods on private land. And, you know, we want to identify ones that are dangerous and ones that need to be replaced, and work with property owners to get that done.
And presumably not every tree that's dangerous is replaced, at least not in the same place.
No, or it might be replaced with something, a different species of tree.
Or in a different location even.
Right.
Other thoughts from the members?
Just our house is surrounded by huge spruce.
Yeah,
They're really pretty.
till they fall
Until the
under.
budworms
And then
come.
the wind blows, you know, and you just really worry about them.
So that's pretty much all I have from the, city council meeting of September 24th.
Anybody have any other thoughts about city business?
That's in the newspaper too this week, that forestry
Yeah,
report, yeah.
okay, the next item on the agenda is the Parks Report, which we have in front of us, a written version, but why don't you go ahead and summarize it for the minutes?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So just to update on revenue wise, September was pretty flat, actually slightly down 1% versus 2024. Not surprising, because 2024 was one of those banner Septembers. It was really nice last year, and we made more money than ever last year. So I was relieved to come up almost even, as it was a really wet, cold start to the month. but then a nice hot, dry finish, so things are still on track, we're doing well, we're up about 2% versus last year. As we've been saying all summer though, that's, indicating a dip in occupancy. Rates were up 5%. So if we had flat occupancy, we'd be up 5%. If we had gained on occupancy, we'd really be up, but unfortunately we dipped. But no worries with the budget. We had a projected budget of 1.76 million. We've already reached that. We're year-to-date at 1.78. I did some quick extrapolating of what we made last year from October through December. It was about 180,000. So you add those two numbers together, I'm projecting a finish this year of 1.96, which I think will be very good news for the city council, as that's approximately 200,000 over projection. We've been meeting online and on-site with engineers from Stantec. This is an initiative Mayor Benson spearheaded. The Great Lakes Restoration Initiative granted $120,000 of funding, federal funding, to work with coastal cities on shoreline erosion and climate resiliency. So we're targeting Boulder Park, the adjacent seawall, particularly the seawall. As we know, the waves tend to sweep that corner down by the Superior Trading Post. Over the past many years, we've seen shoreline erosion there. We've had to repair behind the wall. The wall's aging. It's got some holes in it. And so Stantec is the engineering firm. Right now, they're doing analysis of waves and soils and stormwater. And so it's kind of a data-driven study right now to develop some green-based solutions, some natural buffering, that sort of business, not steel and concrete, but nature-based solutions are what we're targeting for this corner. But throughout this process, we, the city, are keen to incorporate the larger vision for the point. The Coast Guard facility is obviously under study right now to be transitioned to the city, and the Coast Guard parking lot itself is no longer a boat launch parking lot, as we've transferred that agreement across the bay. And so this is kind of all lining up for soon, I would say, as the city council prioritizes for the coming years, the Coast Guard point will be a priority for master planning, and we'll have some good data as to like what the waves are doing along the wall, how we can improve that area to meet the needs of all the interests in mind here. We've got boaters that use that wall. We've got pedestrians obviously strolling through Boulder Park quite a bit. Pedestrians walking down the road of Broadway, something we touched on last month. So I thought here would be a good chance to just say, yep, we're working on it. If we want a sidewalk on Broadway, we got to work with the county. Steve, I know you wanted a map of the area. Did you see that on the emails, or do you want this now? It's, I just made one copy because I think we're all pretty familiar with what we're looking at. But yeah, it's a work in progress, and the schedule with Stantec is, monthly meetings, monthly check-in meetings. They hope to have a concept plan put together by about January, and we'll have that to react to. We'll do public involvement around that plan. Obviously, the park board will be able to review that and get that out to the public for further review.
The sidewalk you're looking at would be a continuation of this walk down here at the bottom?
No, it'd be along Broadway, actually. Like, there's no sidewalk currently on Broadway after Cobblestone Cove where those condos are. So right now,
Doesn't Broadway go down here?
it's this road right here.
Oh, I see. The
Yeah.
you're
Right
talking
now, the
about
sidewalk goes to
sidewalk
about
along-
here.
Okay.
And
now
then,
I
so,
understand.
folks are in the road right out front of the custard shop and the Boulder Park parking lot.
Okay,
But it's a county road, so we'd have to work with the county on the sidewalk there. Not that we can't, we just need to incorporate it into a bigger master plan. Any questions on that project?
Who will own the point when it's done?
City,
The city will. And will it be a Parks Department problem?
I don't know. Problem, no, it'd be an opportunity.
Will it be a Parks Department asset?
Possibly,
There you go.
possibly.
Wow.
Boulder Park, yes. The parking lot's city property. The Coast Guard will soon be city property. What department looks after it, I don't know yet.
Is the building historical
It is on the registry.
designated? Oh,
And I believe they're currently doing like the EI, or the environmental assessment of it to determine, you know, for hazardous materials and what remediation would be needed. That's at the federal level, before they would be able to transfer the, you know, ownership. They're doing their due diligence of study for hazardous materials. And
Okay.
with the history of, you can expect, you know, lead, asbestos, that sort of business.
Two Harbors has some sort of a bed and breakfast associated with its old lighthouse and the lighthouse keeper's property. Is there any possibility that something like that might be done either directly by the city or by contract?
You know, it's possible, Steve, but that's, I think, part of that bigger community discussion of what should we do with this property.
It would, I would think that given its location, it would command a substantial rent.
I already got dibs on the top floor, so.
So, the parking lot, you said, you know, since you moved everything across, the bay for boats and stuff, and this was striped for,
Truck trailer.
yeah, do you have to wait for everything to go through to actually restripe it? Because you said you could probably get more parking,
Yeah,
better
no.
parking?
We could, you know, if we wanted to, we could restripe it today.
Okay, so
But no,
that's not,
the state of the bituminous is in a, you know, 25, 30-year-old, like, deteriorated. There's some sinkholes out there. There's the real roughness to it because it's, you know, cobblestone, and I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of inflow underneath it. And so that's really why we're looking at needing a bigger master plan to address, like, reshaping that entire point, repaving, maybe not the whole unit, but, you know, parking becomes a piece of that discussion, as we know it's important. But it's a bigger picture, bigger community discussion, city council priority. Park Board will play its role as we administer Boulder Park, and whether or not we sort of annex the parking lot and everything else, the seawall, it makes sense that we would have that oversight of that property, but that's in the works.
If there gets to be a discussion of that being leased out to a private somebody, I would like to be part of that discussion, to make sure that all the issues that need to be addressed are addressed.
I'll keep that in mind. Let's see, we're still open. Of course, it's October. We're busy with fall color leaf lookers. It's still nice out. So it's kind of this, wow, we're busy, but we're also busy winterizing. We've got 2 bathhouses that are presently closed, the ones in the middle of the park, bathhouse 2, bathhouse 3, just to get everything put away on time and deep clean. We've already closed those 2 facilities, as we kind of know most of our guests are out west by the ball field area or down east by the marina in the front row. So we've still got those 2 bathhouses on the east and west sides open, number 1 and number 4, but we're pressure washing and scrubbing the walls in number 2 and number 3. We will open up number 3 again for this weekend and for MEA weekend, as we're full again as in those neighborhoods as well. Yeah, MEA weekend's our last scheduled full-service water weekend. It's also the Moose Madness Festival in town, so we're sold out. Hopefully it stays nice. But then starting Monday, October 20th, we'll put the air to the lines and do the winterization of the seasonal water system. We'll still be open, you know, in the off-season. We offer, like, what we'd say dry camping, rustic camping, no reservations taken. And our current office hours have scaled back as well. They're 8 to 4, except Friday nights we're open till 8. We just purchased a 2023 Club Cart utility cart. Got a good deal from the dealer. Has what's 2 years old, 300 hours, $9,600. We got a price from the Sourcewell, like, state contract on a new unit, $13,300. So we were quick to snap up this 2023 cart. I believe it'll be delivered later on this week. We're looking forward to that, because the 2 blue utility buggies we're driving around now, they're little Yamaha units, and they're over 20 years old. I think they were on a schedule of replacement at about 10 years, so definitely got our money's worth out of those carts. We'll keep limping them along, but we're looking forward to this new cart. And then this is exciting news for our regional significant partners with the Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails Commission. They have chosen to have their annual fall meeting of commissioners here in the city council chambers in a couple weeks from now, on the 23rd and 22nd. There'll be some meetings here. with commissioners from throughout the state, probably 15 or so folks. I've been invited to be like a opening speaker, welcome speaker, and we'll give them a tour of the recreation area, and we'll definitely keep the good relationships going, as this is the group that's evaluating our legacy funding grant request.
How did they happen to come here? Did we issue an invitation?
No, they looked me up.
Heck of a deal.
Everybody loves Grand Marais.
We have a new stadium for that.
Yeah, the new chamber, the new the new.
I take it
City
that the
Hall.
commissioners who are meeting on that are the state trail commissioners, not
Yes.
us, not
That's right.
people like us.
That's right. But it's still an impressive group of recreation leaders, and I'm really honored and proud to be hosting them.
Cool.
That's great.
Hope the weather's cooperative.
Yeah,
Do I assume that if one of the members here wanted to attend, that would be possible?
sure.
You gonna feed them lunch,
I bet they take care of their own catering.
you think?
I'll help.
Well, then, if they're feeding lunch, you'll come, right?
Just an unrelated question.
Well, that's right down your alley, isn't it? The
asking
Parks
for
and Rec
lunches.
stuff?
I'm just asking.
Yeah. We encourage you to go.
That's all I have.
I asked the questions I have. Anybody else have questions or comments on the Parks report? We also have with us some proposed rates for next year. I have a desire to think about whether or not any of our particular rates deserve to go up more or less than the standard amount. We've been doing a pretty standard 3% kind of thing for all the years I've been here. And I was hoping that we'd get some information, or not hoping, I'm asking for some information with regard to the charges that we make for the various things and how they may compare with other places, or whether we think that the people who are in them would pay more if we asked them to happily, or any of those things.
Sure. Well, in regards to how we compare with other parks, we're the most expensive. We really make no, we're not afraid to charge more because we're on Lake Superior next to downtown Grand Marais. So because we're so unique in our location, and I would say so prized, our rates reflect that. We definitely charge maybe $5 more per night than the average RV park on Lake Superior. Although we have noticed over the past few years that, and we generally look to like Burlington Bay and Two Harbors. Now there's Black Beach and Silver Bay as like municipal competitors. Those are both two municipal campgrounds that are near the lake. Black Beach, not so much. Burlington Bay does have the Bay View. It's in town. And they have adjusted their rates up accordingly, I think, to catch up with us, or at least to capitalize on the demand and the ability to pay, the willingness to pay. And so they've caught up. We still are approximately $5 more per night on our rates versus those two. But they do have other sort of hidden fees, I would say, or not hidden, but like extra vehicle fee on those places, or an extra person fee is like $10 a night versus ours at $5. And so, right, when it comes down to it, it's all relatively close. Now, state parks, on the other hand, I feel they're subsidized. They offer reasonable camping, $30 to $40 a night, usually electric water only. They don't offer sewer. You need to purchase a vehicle sticker if you don't already have one, so there's those extra fees as well. So again, it's in that range of like, $30 to $50 a night at a state park. But yeah, really, we don't ever, I shouldn't say that, we rarely hear, the negative, whoa, you guys are expensive, or we're gonna pass, you're too expensive. Like, that's really not a part of our interactions with guests. Anecdotally, I don't think a lot of guests even ask about the rate or blink at the rate. We do, and then, on to your second question of kind of where should we charge more or less for tents versus lakeside RVs, we've already built that into the rates. You can already see we do a spectrum of prices. Even so, on a tent site versus a lakeside tent site, there's a $5 break there. The same for RV sites, where there's, the standard RV site, there's a pull-through RV site, there's a lakeside RV site. All of that is taking advantage of in-demand sites, people's ability and willingness to pay for a better site. And so we've already baked that into our rate card. And when we do multipliers of 3 or 5%, those naturally affect these rates differently, where 3% on a tent site is, $1 more. On an RV site, it's $2 more. And so over time, we've already multiplied these rates accordingly based on percentages. Tent sites are slower to grow, they're not as expensive because of that. RV sites are keeping up with those increases. I will say we've done 5% the last 2 years. We might want to rethink that this year, just to be nice. The consumer price index on inflation was 2.9%. But it's up to us, it's up to you all, 3 versus 5. It just makes sense to do it in margins, not to skip a year, not to be 10%, 3 years from now. That's just not fair to some guests that are used to this. I think by and large, especially our seasonal guests, expect this. So it's really just a question of how many percent would you like, 2, 3, 4, 5?
So your approach is like heating the water for the frog slowly. I do have one thought, and that is, as we reduce from 30 to 20, the number of, is it 30% to 20%, the number of year-round sites, that those year-round sites will become more valuable.
They're already valuable, but you're right. There's no
So we
question
might want to
like,
think about how we want to address that question, either this year or in future years. And of course, the other thing is once they're no longer seasonal, we'll be able to charge weekly and monthly rates for them.
daily,
Once they
weekly,
get
that's
changed.
right.
So there will be a revenue increase there.
Correct, and that value is already showing itself this year. We had 3 of these prime seasonals that have transitioned into nightly. And so I think I suggested this on the back, we need to create a new rate for these sites now where they aren't quite front row lakeside EWS, at $70 a night. This year, we've been charging them as like the pull-throughs, which is a little more than the standard. But it's my belief that, these are like second tier, they still have got big views, and people are certainly pining for them. And so we can or should create this idea of a prime nightly that's, say, $5 less than the lakeside nightly. So we would then have this new category of, standard electric water sewer, pull-through electric water sewer, prime electric water sewer, and then lakeside electric water sewer.
What's
And
the difference between Prime and Lakeside?
The lakeside is the front row.
Okay,
It's those down across from the bay. They've already established, there's like 15 of them. They're the most popular. People pay the $70 rate all summer and fall and spring. But these are the sort of the next, just above them. They're that are currently seasonal with views, big lots. Now we're transitioning into the nightly, weekly.
Okay.
And so we are capturing the value in that the nightly rate already is 40% more, or 40% more than what we had charged as a seasonal site. The seasonal rate is discounted about 40% off nightly. So as these sites transition to nightly, we instantly make twice as much. Even at the pull-through $55 rate or 57 or whatever it is this year. I think it's best to, say these sites are new, they're special. Let's make a new price for them. We'll call them prime. Say $5 less than Lakeside and no weekly discount. Because that too is another caveat to the Lakeside front row, is we don't give them the free night on 7 nights. We do offer weekly discounts on standard sites. It's a free night, 7 for the price of 6. A lot of folks stay for 2 weeks.
By when do we need to make our decisions on the rates question?
Tonight,
Today?
we start taking reservations in 3 weeks.
Oh, that doesn't provide time for the analysis that I was hoping we were gonna get about the 20% versus 30%, and whether we might wanna raise that a little bit more for the for the survivors.
I don't know what more analysis I can give you. It's just a choice.
So, when someone rents a place, that includes for 2 adults,
4 adults.
4 adults,
One
and then
vehicle.
$5 after that? Okay,
Yeah, base rates are on 4 adults, 1 vehicle.
gotcha.
And that's true, other parks do it on 2 adults, 1 vehicle. And then they have those little extra fees of, you know, $10 for extra adults and $10 for extra cars.
Right.
Where I was heading with it was that we might try to go for an overall 3% increase, but we might put more of the increase on the higher priced ones, the ones that are more attractive and in demand, as compared to the ones at the bottom of the list.
And that actually happens just in math of the, like 10 sites they're cheaper, they're $30. So 3% on $30 is like $1. And then the RV sites, which is $50, 3%'s $1 or $1.50 or $2. So it already works itself out in the math of across the board, 3%. When you apply that towards a basic tent site, it only raises it $1. When you apply it towards a full hookup
In
RV
dollar
site-
terms, you get more out of 2% of a bigger number, or 3%. But, and I'm happy with that. I'm just wondering whether or not it makes any sense for the lots that are the most sought after, that we consider a raise that's more than 3 or 5% on some of those, and maybe a lower overall increase.
I feel like the Lakeside and these, if Prime are the two, those are the ones that are sought after, because they got the view, right? Everybody says this when they are booking, is it by the lake? Can we get something by the lake? We want the view. And we've already priced those as, $70 a night accordingly. They're $20 more than an electric water site that has no view. A third more. So it's already built into the rates that our best
I
sites
understand
charge
there's a
more.
gradation already, and I'm just wondering whether or not it makes sense to increase that distinction a little bit. Those who are there year-round, and as we go from 30% to 20%, those lots will become even more precious, right? So,
Yeah, for sure, seasonal pricing is different than nightly pricing. And yet that seasonal rate at, 4,700, 4,800, that's a lot compared to other parks that do seasonals. Now, again, we're very unique in this. We're a public park. We do seasonals. No other public parks
but we
actually do
haven't had any
seasonals.
trouble filling those places, right?
No, in fact, we got hundreds on the waiting list.
So it seems if we think about what the market will bear, we might want to think. Now, if you absolutely have to have a decision tonight, we can just decide on 3% as an overall amount or however percent we want, and then we can look at the detail of it between now and next month if we want to. Or we can wait till next year, but I think it behooves us as we go from 30% to 20% to think about that.
I get that, and maybe I was wrong in that we don't need to set monthly rates till not November, because we don't take reservations. The monthlies are in a different pool of they get their deposits in January. So it's true that we need to set our nightly rates, I would hope by November 1st, just so we can have our online booking machine all up to date. So nightly rates, yes, we do have a little bit of let's get them set sooner than later. Monthly rates, we could take another month and think about and talk about and do some more analysis on with the
And that would be
reduction.
the principal item on our November agenda,
Yeah.
okay? Yes, Mr. Vice
So
President.
moved to set 3% as the rate and then revisit
The
specialized
distribution.
rates next month.
All right, are people happy with, is there a second to that motion?
Well,
Generally-
I'll second it.
All right, the motion is to have the overall charges be increased by 3% with the distribution to be considered at the next meeting. Is there further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure this fits under the motion, but, two things that you mentioned in the useful information about renting the rec hall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the change fee.
Yeah,
Are
the
two
change
things
fee.
that I'm interested in. Are those separate from the 3%?
I
Okay,
think so.
okay, so. we
But
can-
I'd like to just be clear that we're talking about 3% across the board on nightly, weekly rates. And
And,
then,
Right.
and also seasonal rates?
I don't know, cause
No.
now we're talking about more discussion about those next month.
Well,
I would,
we were talking about 3% for everything, weren't we?
Yeah.
And that would include the seasonal rates or not?
you
I
tell
would,
me.
it would if I,
Well, I think it was.
does your motion
It was
include?
stated as 3% tonight, and then revisit special cases next month.
And so it'd be 3% for the total income.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And as to individual, things, we'll be deciding them next month.
No, total income
No.
means 3% across the board, including marina. Yeah, seasonal camping and nightly camping. 3%. That's how I'm understanding it.
Which is, I'm fine with. I just wanna be, so when we increase our rates for nightly online this month, so it's ready by November, they'll be up 3%. And then we can look at seasonal rate, I think, in November.
I sense that you're not happy with the idea of applying the 3% to some of the categories that some of us have talked about. Am I hearing correctly?
No, I just wanna be clear on what we're applying it to, and I'm hearing nightly, not
Right.
seasonal.
Right. That's what I'm hearing too. And you'll add the prime, a new prime rate?
Well, we'll do that next with these special considerations.
Oh, that's not gonna have to be on the.
No, cause those
by
sites aren't
November
reservable.
1st.
good, because the rec hall wouldn't be 3%, that's a major change.
No, he's just,
Yeah, those would be separate discussion.
Yeah,
he's just discussing things that haven't been changed in a long time, like the
Extra cars, extra
the
golf.
extra cars, the rec hall, what else you got on here?
That's
We
about
can
it.
revisit those next month as well. Do you want to state your motion again, Bob, to make sure that we know what we're voting on?
well, you just mentioned extra cars,
Seven,
that also needs a special,
right.
a little amendment next month. So the motion was to increase rates nightly 3% across the park. And then next month revisit special cases, which would be those defined by Dave as needing adjustment.
So when you say nightly, that would exclude the seasonal winds, although we can look at those next month.
And if you want to throw them in the pot next month, fine. And if not, or tweak them, fine. But it gives Dave some time to sort it
Okay,
out.
so the motion is narrowed to just nightly rates and monthly rates and weekly rates, everything except seasonal rates, right? And those special categories are not included either.
Everything at the bottom of the page and that went on the next page that didn't print, we could talk about next month.
3% up on nightly. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
And then tweak it next month.
all these other things. So, and when you're talking about by November, they can do 6 months in advance, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so May
so they
1st starts November 1st.
Gotcha.
And that's, yeah, so, yeah, for sure, next month, I'm happy to look at seasonal rates, extras, rec halls, storage, even the off-season, on-season discount. Right now, May and October, it's $5 less on nightly.
Yeah.
Maybe we make that $2 less, or $3. I mean, we got some ways to make more. We can look at those next month.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so the motion is that the nightly, weekly, and monthly rates,
Nightly.
Nightly,
Nightly,
just nightly,
Yep,
Yep,
call it nightly, yep.
okay?
just nightly.
That the nightly rates would go up by 3%. And that we will look at other questions on the charges in November after we've received recommendations from our staff.
Right, there's a rack of special cases
Right,
that Dave will define.
Right, anything that's not covered by his motion will be addressed next time. Okay? Is everybody ready to vote?
I think with the CPI at 2.9, 3 is certainly defensible and needs no apology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not quite as high as last year, it makes us look good.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, would you raise your hand and say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. There are being none. The minutes will be recorded as a unanimous vote of all the commissioners present. I see, new business, we've already addressed that. Is there any old business?
Dave,
Hearing none.
what are tent rates off-season?
$10 a night.
Just $10 a night? So-
Yep,
And that's wide open,
just show
you can
up.
fill lots of sites,
Hundreds of sites,
but it's with a porta potty, right?
porta potty,
So like for North House, plenty of room.
hundreds of sites. And again, that's a rate we haven't changed forever.
Right,
10 a night for rustic, 20 for electric.
and that's a very kind rate for minimal use and good PR, so.
Maybe we leave it, but we'll put it on the card for next month.
I didn't understand that at all. What was the noun there?
Well, the tent rate is $10 a night,
Oh, the temp rate,
off-season,
right.
and I
20 if there's
will
electricity.
argue next month to leave it at 10 because it's a good PR move, it doesn't cost much, it looks great, and it sounds great.
And same with the 20 with the electric for tenders.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's a good,
note taken for next week.
it's a good PR group.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't cloud up their Wi-Fi, you don't have, you know, just go in their house.
And for sure, next month, we'll address these 2 points K of the, like the change fee and the prime.
Do you have a
new
change fee
sites.
now?
Nope,
Okay. Well, those are 2 busy weekends.
Move that we consider a change fee next month for sure.
well, you don't need to move it, I got
Put
it
it in
on
there,
there.
yeah.
Are any fees to the park changing as far as your processing credit cards, things like that, those fees? Do you get
Hopefully
a heads
not.
up on that? When, or if you do, when does that happen?
Right now,
I
actually.
mean,
Okay,
remember a meeting when this.
So if there's
discussion was
anything-
suspicious.
that we need to consider,
5%
we will
is
know
well
that
before.
next month, okay? Alright,
So is there anything else for the good of the order? If not, I declare us adjourned earlier than usual.